Hi, this is Josh from Breezy Bellows, and today I want to talk about how we can use the full length of the keyboard effectively. So accordions come in a lot of different sizes, and the length of the keyboard is one of the biggest factors that determines the weight of the accordion. We have shorter keyboards that go all the way from like 30, 31, 34, 37, all the way up to 41, which is a standard full size. And the one that I have right now is an extended keyboard that has 45 keys. And you might not need all of these keys for all different types of music, but I just wanted to show certain things that I do with a full-length keyboard that have opened up to get different sounds out of the instrument. And before I go into the demonstration itself, I wanted to talk about tonal separation, which is something that I learned from other musicians. That is a dimension that you can add to your music along with the harmonies and the dynamics, which is basically playing softer and louder. Tonal separation is basically how we can play notes from the extreme ends of the pitch. So I could play something pretty low and then also something high at the keyboard. We don't want all the notes to be like crowded around the same place. The more separated the notes are, the better it's gonna sound, for lack of a better word. Now, let me show you a song that I have been playing for a few years. This is Jan Tiersen's La Noye, and just a section from that song. So usually when I play it in my smaller accordions, I switch to like the violin register or the musette register and play it over here. And this accordion is dry tuned, so the violin doesn't really have any tremolo in it, but this is how it sounds like. There's nothing wrong about it. It sounds great. That's how it is played in the original song. But sometimes we want a little bit of a change up. So you hit the master switch and you add more notes into it, right? So you basically add a lower octave and a higher octave to what you originally had on the violin switch. But then it doesn't always sound great. Like once you start adding the lower switch, anything that you play like on the lower half of the keyboard, you got to be careful with it so that it doesn't sound too muddy. I'm going to show you how this sounds like with the master switch. So I definitely want this to be a little bit higher, right? Especially the second half of whatever I played. I wouldn't want to do that on the master. I want to switch back to the violin. But then I listened to one of the videos that Michael Bridge put out, and where he was talking about tonal separation. And that's when I started using one of the switches that I had not previously used a lot, which is the organ switch. So the difference between the organ switch and the master is that usually the master in a 4-reed accordion you'd have like the two middles and the low and the high. So there is tonal separation, but there's it's full, right? So you've got all the reeds in. But the organ, on the other hand, omits the middle two reeds and only keeps the low and the high. And I particularly like the sound of the organ higher up on the keyboard. And it emphasizes the tonal separation much more than the master switch. So that is one of the reasons why I chose to have a chin switch that takes me directly to the organ. And this is something that I do for a lot of my simple songs. I would play it in violin and then switch up to the organ and then go an octave up. So if I play the organ instead of the master, this is how it sounds like. So the master is going to sound like this. And if I switch to the organ, and it's a very subtle difference, but you should notice that the tones are more separated on the organ, and it's a little counterintuitive. I feel that the organ at times feels more powerful than the master switch, even though the organ doesn't have the two middle reeds in there. So the advantage of having a longer keyboard is that I could even go an octave higher on this. So instead of playing it like this, and I'm gonna go higher. So when I go that high on a violin, it's not gonna sound good. It's gonna sound too weak and too shrill. So if I were to play this on the violin, this is how it sounds like. So I've been using the organ switch a lot these days, and I like the balance it has between the power and also a sweet tone. The same could be done with the bandoneon, especially if you have a tone chamber. It sounds really, really good when you play it all the way up here. So of course the extended keyboard adds a lot of weight, and that is a big trade-off, and it might not be right for everybody. If you like to play a smaller accordion, by all means play a smaller accordion, but if you want to explore a longer keyboard, do. But be aware that it's gonna be a lot heavier, and you'll have to work with your strap adjustments to make sure that you're playing it right and you don't injure yourself. I'll see you again later in a different video, and until then, goodbye.